first question which could come to your mind is, why do you need to learn the Oracle SQL? Because these days you keep hearing the latest on data science, machine learning, and so on. But still, Oracle SQL is also part of machine learning, and in fact, Oracle recently in their cloud offerings have built in machine learning as well. So having said that, we look at other points. So SQL is used everywhere. More than 90% of the application are using relational database, and majority use Oracle RDBMS. It's in high demand because so many companies are using it. The demand, the right side shows the demand. Still, SQL is leading this show. The demand is quite high. And SQL, not only that, SQL is still the most popular language for data related work. Data work meaning any kind of analytics or analyzing the data. And most importantly, we'll be using the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which offers the free tier. In free tier, Oracle provides 2 Oracle Cloud Autonomous Database. So we will be provisioning that, and we'll be using that towards learning the SQL. So we'll be starting off with what is a business application. We'll be looking at the RDBMS based business application, why you require RDBMS. And post that I'll be covering an overview of relational database management system, how it is designed and developed. I'll be covering concepts such as the entity relationship diagram, and then into the RDBMS as well. So I'll be covering what is a database instance, what is it called, different Oracle DB environment which you can use to learn and practice Oracle SQL. You can have your own instance, or you can use the Oracle Cloud instance which has the autonomous database. That's what we are going to use. Or you can use, currently you can use Oracle also provides apex.oracle.com, which you could use towards learning Oracle SQL. Post that I'll be discussing how to get the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free tier. About a year back, Oracle came up with Oracle Cloud free tier, that is always free tier, wherein you'll get the Oracle database, 2 instances of Oracle Autonomous Database, 2 instances of 20 GB, and then you also get the compute instance through which you can create virtual machines, like Linux virtual machine you can create, and then you can have, if you towards learning you can do that, or towards developing a proof of concept, you can have the virtual machines. So 2 virtual machines and 2 autonomous database are provided by Oracle Cloud Infrastructure as a free tier, which means they are not chargeable. You can keep using it. So I'll be discussing how to get access to the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure free tier. And then I'll be discussing about the latest, that is the Oracle Autonomous Cloud Database, which is the 19C version. I'll be briefly discussing on the Oracle Autonomous Cloud Database, and post that we'll be using the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure to provision the Oracle Autonomous Database. So you'll just need to provision, that is just by giving some information, basic information, and click of a button, you'll have the cloud database up and running. There is no installation required in your machine towards database. So it's just by click of button. You can provision the database on the Oracle Cloud. So this provision database is what we'll be using towards learning the Oracle SQL. And then I'll be discussing how to access the Oracle Autonomous Database for SQL. I mean SQL Developer Web and the client version, that is SQL Developer Web and client version, how to access that. I mean the database for SQL Plus, I'll be discussing on that. Post this, for effective learning, SQL learning, you need to have the database, dataset in the, or the data in the table to issue appropriate select statement. So what we'll be doing is we'll be installing a data set HR dataset in using the Oracle Apex, and we'll be using that in our SQL select, because if you're creating your own data, then it is a laborious process. So to avoid that, we'll be using the dataset which is already built in by the Oracle Apex. So we'll be using that dataset to perform the installation. The tables, everything tables and data gets inserted automatically by running the scripts. So we'll be installing that, and using that data we'll be discussing about various select statement. This is the heart of the course. Different select statements are there. SQL select statement, we'll be discussing them in details, the built-in functions and the character manipulations, how do you do that, conversion and conditional expression like null value, NVL, case, decode, that is the conditional expression is case and decode, aggregate function, that is something like for a group you do a count, you do a sum, you do an average, those are aggregate function. I'll be discussing on that. And then the important one, the join condition, various joins, because the data might not be residing in just single table. When there is multiple table, you want to retrieve the data, you need to use the join condition. So I'll be discussing the table joins, how to have the SQL statements towards the table joins. I'll be discussing that. Subqueries, an inner query and an outer query, that's concept of subquery. Two queries will be there. The inner query will give the result to the outer query to process the data retrieval. So we'll be discussing the subqueries. Data definition language and constraints. This is where we'll be discussing about the concepts of primary key, foreign key, relationship, check constraint, not null. Those things we'll be seeing and we'll be discussing. Data manipulation language, if you want to perform an update, then it's data manipulation. So we'll be discussing that. Database objects, there are supporting objects like sequence, index for performance tuning, synonyms, views, I'll be discussing on that. User privileges and roles. And then this is also important, correlated subqueries. This is a kind of a complicated one. I mean, in this subquery, if you want to do a row by row processing, then one need to use the correlated subquery. I'll be discussing on that. I'll be touching briefly on SQL tuning, because SQL tuning itself will be a big course. I will not be going in depth into the SQL tuning part. I'll be providing just an overview. And finally, this is available in Oracle Cloud Autonomous Database as developer tool. I'll be discussing various developer tools, and in particular I'll be discussing the machine learning component of Oracle, because this is catching up because now Oracle has introduced the Oracle machine learning concepts into the database itself. So I'll be briefly discussing how to provision the notebook, Zeppelin notebook, and how to use the SQL query, how to visualize, because this is where you can see have your own bar graphs, pie charts with the data available in the database. You can slice and dice to derive the meaningful information. So in all, it's going to be a highly useful course.